O Anusandhan, more popularly known as SOA, has a rich legacy of 28 years. SOA, which came into existence in 1996, floated several institutions imparting professional education in engineering, medical sciences and management sciences. SOA is the fruition of the dream of Professor Dr. Manoj Ranjan Naik, an academician par excellence who was motivated to set up a high-quality center of professional education in Odisha. As it grew into a socially inclusive center of higher education, SOA was conferred the status of a deemed to be university by the Ministry of Education on July 17, 2007. It has since emerged as a center of superlative professional education with focus on research. The multi-campus infrastructure of SOA is home to more than 17,000 students. Among them are around 400 foreign students from 30 countries who have chosen SOA to chart out a future for themselves. Providing much stress on women empowerment and education, more than 54% of the university's students are females. Similarly, more than 42% of all employees, including faculty members, are women. SOA has set up 12 constituent institutions imparting education in varied subjects. They are Institute of Technical Education and Research, ITER, the Faculty of Engineering and Technology. ITER started in the academic year 1996-1997. Institute of Business and Computer Studies, IBCS, the Faculty of Management Sciences. IBCS came into existence in the year 1997-1998. Some Nursing College, SNC, the Faculty of Nursing. School of Hotel Management, SHM, the Faculty of Hospitality and Tourism Management. School of Pharmaceutical Sciences, SPS, the Faculty of Pharmaceutical Sciences. SNC, SHM and SPS were set up in the academic year 2004-2005. Institute of Dental Sciences, IDS, the Faculty of Dental Sciences. It came into existence in the academic year 2006-2007. Institute of Medical Sciences and Some Hospital, IMS and SH, the Faculty of Medical Sciences. The Medical College and Hospital started in the academic year of 2007-2008. SOA National Institute of Law, SNIL, the Faculty of Legal Studies, started in 2011-2012. Institute of Agricultural Sciences, IAS, the Faculty of Agricultural Sciences. It came into existence in the academic year 2013-2014. Institute of Veterinary Sciences and Animal Husbandry, IVS and AH, the Faculty of Veterinary Sciences. The Medical Institute for Treating Animals started 2 years ago. Institute of Medical Sciences and Some Hospital, 2, Phulnakhara Campus. Some Nursing College, SNC, 2, Phulnakhara Campus. SOA has continuously figured among the top
all the
universities
deans,
of the country
directors,
as per
pro
the
vice
National
chancellors
Institutional Ranking Framework.
are hereby requested to come to the backstage to receive the ambassadors on behalf of university. They are already on the way. Within 5 minutes they will be arriving in this campus. I again request all the pro vice chancellors, deans and directors present here to come on the backstage.
Education Center established in ITER campus, which has been designated as AIC SOA Foundation. The 5th generation wireless technology 5G service for Odisha, which promises faster data speed, low latency and supports a massive number of connected devices, was inaugurated in SOA on January 5, 2023. The university has got approval for use of 100 MHz bandwidth of 5G new radio for R&D and on-campus educational purpose. The 2700-bedded IMS and some hospital, which has become one of the most sought-after healthcare centers in the state, deploys excellent modern and advanced diagnostic, surgical and life-saving equipment. The hospital extends quality medical facilities for patients at affordable cost. The IMS and some hospital has the approval of 250 seats in MBBS course. A separate multi-super specialty quaternary care hospital, Some Ultimate Medicare, has been established by SOA in Bhubaneswar, which extends state-of-the-art healthcare to the people. This 575-bedded hospital has become one of the most prominent healthcare centers in Eastern India. Both IMS and Some Hospital and Some Ultimate Medicare has been accredited by leading healthcare organizations NABL and NABH. SOA has set up 1100-bedded IMS and Some Hospital 2 near Phulnakhara on the Bhubaneswar-Cuttack highway, and 200-bedded IMS and Some Hospital 3 at Sitalapalli in Barampur to expand its healthcare outreach. IMS and Some Hospital 2 has received approval to run as a medical college with an intake of 150 students into the MBBS course from the current academic session. All the 4 hospitals together have a total bed strength of around 4,500. When the COVID-19 pandemic struck in 2020, SOA stepped up to assist the state government in battling the disease by operating 10 COVID hospitals and centers in Odisha in collaboration with the administration. It provided doctors, nurses and paramedics who worked round the clock to save lives. Jago, an initiative of the university with students at the forefront, has been working among slum children, taking care of their education, nutrition and hygiene.
Welcome to the Centre for Environment and Climate, CEC. Established in 2018, CEC is dedicated to advancing environmental research and real-time weather forecasting. The objective is to provide short-range weather forecasts specifically tailored to the Odisha region, keeping people informed and prepared. But that's not all. CEC is committed to nurturing the next generation of weather and climate scientists, offering PhD programs and driving cutting-edge research on climate change, urbanization, monsoon dynamics and tropical cyclones.
This center is established in the year 2018 with the objective of creating weather scientists in the field of atmospheric science like climate and climate change, climate variability, dynamics of monsoon and tropical cyclones. Besides this also, it was decided to take a meteorological observation at this location also and do the short-range weather forecast.
A surface meteorological observatory operates at the centre alongside a network of 17 lightning detection systems spread across Odisha. These detect lightning signatures and issue early warnings, 30 to 45 minutes prior to the thunderstorms, directly to local communities via WhatsApp. This project is a collaborative effort powered by IITM Pune, NRSC Hyderabad and Earth Networks Centre for Climate Smart Agriculture, CCSA. Research at CCSA focuses on the impacts of climate change on agriculture, along with adaptation and mitigation strategies powered by AI and machine learning.
The center is executing the prestigious BRICS project awarded to the center recently to the university. So where the partners from Brazil, South Africa and China are involved. The major focus is to study the mechanism of drought propagation, mainly the short-term drought propagation under the climate change scenario, the mechanism of propagation and the accuracy of prediction of drought and the drought resilient measures, how to develop to minimize the adverse effect of drought.
The present scenario, the most challenging task for mankind is the climate change and how we can adopt it. The climate change is a global issue, but its influence is very localized. And the adaptation strategy have to follow as per the requirement, and we are gearing that respect.
Our outreach goes beyond research, engaging students, farmers, policymakers, and the private sector through awareness programs, technical guidance, and hands-on training. Together, CEC and CCSA are shaping Odisha's future, where science meets sustainability and innovation empowers resilience.
Siksha O Anusandhan, more popularly known as SOA, has a rich legacy of 28 years. SOA, which came into existence in 1996, floated several institutions imparting professional education in engineering, medical sciences and management sciences. SOA is the fruition of the dream of Professor Dr. Manoj Ranjan Naik, an academician par excellence who was motivated to set up a high-quality center of professional education in Odisha. As it grew into a socially inclusive center of higher education, SOA was conferred the status of a deemed to be university by the Ministry of Education on July 17, 2007. It has since emerged as a center of superlative professional education with focus on research. The multi-campus infrastructure of SOA is home to more than 17,000 students. Among them are around 400 foreign students from 30 countries who have chosen SOA to chart out a future for themselves. Providing much stress on women empowerment and education, more than 54% of the university's students are females. Similarly, more than 42% of all employees, including faculty members, are women. SOA has set up 12 constituent institutions imparting education in varied subjects. They are Institute of Technical Education and Research, ITER, the Faculty of Engineering and Technology. ITER started in the academic year 1996-1997. Institute of Business and Computer Studies, IBCS, the Faculty of Management Sciences. IBCS came into existence in the year 1997-1998. Some Nursing College, SNC, the Faculty of Nursing. School of Hotel Management, SHM, the Faculty of Hospitality and Tourism Management. School of Pharmaceutical Sciences, SPS, the Faculty of Pharmaceutical Sciences. SNC, SHM and SPS were set up in the academic year 2004-2005. Institute of Dental Sciences, IDS, the Faculty of Dental Sciences. It came into existence in the academic year 2006-2007. Institute of Medical Sciences and some hospital, IMS and SH, the Faculty of Medical Sciences. The medical college and hospital started in the academic year of 2007-2008. SOA National Institute of Law, SNIL, the Faculty of Legal Studies, started in 2011-2012. Institute of Agricultural Sciences, IAS, the Faculty of Agricultural Sciences. It came into existence in the academic year 2013-2014. Institute of Veterinary Sciences and Animal Husbandry, IVS and AH, the Faculty of Veterinary Sciences. The Medical Institute for Treating Animals started 2 years ago. Institute of Medical Sciences and some hospital, 2, Phulnakhara campus. Some Nursing College, SNC, 2, Phulnakhara campus. SOA has continuously figured among the top universities of the country as per the National Institutional Ranking Framework or NIRF rankings. The university found place in the top 20 institutions of higher education on 8 occasions since 2016. SOA was ranked 14th in the country in the university category by NIRF in 2024. The Institute of Technical Education and Research, ITER, was ranked 26th by NIRF in 2024. The Institute of Medical Sciences and some hospital was ranked 21st, while the Institute of Dental Sciences and SOA National Institute of Law were placed 9th in the country. The National Assessment and Accreditation Council, NAAC, which has termed SOA as socially inclusive, has re-accredited it in 2022 with the highest grade of A++. SOA has been internationally ranked by QS and the World University Rankings. As part of the Atal Innovative Mission, an Atal Incubation Center established in ITER campus, which has been designated as AIC SOA Foundation. The 5th generation wireless technology, 5G service for Odisha, which promises faster data speed, low latency, and supports a massive number of connected devices, was inaugurated in SOA on January 5, 2023. The university has got approval for use of 100 MHz bandwidth of 5G new radio for R&D and on-campus educational purpose. The 2,700-bedded IMS and some hospital, which has become one of the most sought-after healthcare centers in the state, deploys excellent modern and advanced diagnostic, surgical and life-saving equipment. The hospital extends quality medical facilities for patients at affordable cost. The IMS and some hospital has the approval of 250 seats in MBBS course. A separate multi-super specialty quaternary care hospital, some Ultimate Medicare, has been established by SOA in Bhubaneswar, which extends state-of-the-art healthcare to the people. This 575-bedded hospital has become one of the most prominent healthcare centers in eastern India. Both IMS and some hospital and some Ultimate Medicare has been accredited by leading healthcare organizations NABL and NABH. SOA has set up 1100-bedded IMS and some hospital 2 near Phulnakhara on the Bhubaneswar-Cuttack highway, and 200-bedded IMS and some hospital 3 at Sitalapalli in Barampur to expand its healthcare outreach. IMS and some hospital 2 has received approval to run as a medical college with an intake of 150 students into the MBBS course from the current academic session. All the 4 hospitals together have a total bed strength of around 4,500. When the COVID-19 pandemic struck in 2020, SOA stepped up to assist the state government in battling the disease by operating 10 COVID hospitals and centers in Odisha in collaboration with the administration. It provided doctors, nurses and paramedics who worked round the clock to save lives. Jago, an initiative of the university with students at the forefront, has been working among slum children, taking care of their education, nutrition and hygiene.
Welcome to the Centre for Environment and Climate, CEC. Established in 2018, CEC is dedicated to advancing environmental research and real-time weather forecasting. The objective is to provide short-range weather forecasts specifically tailored to the Odisha region, keeping people informed and prepared. But that's not all. CEC is committed to nurturing the next generation of weather and climate scientists, offering PhD programs and driving cutting-edge research on climate change, urbanization, monsoon dynamics and tropical cyclones.
This center is established in the year 2018 with the objective of creating weather scientists in the field of atmospheric science like climate and climate change, climate variability, dynamics of monsoon and tropical cyclones. Besides this also, it was decided to take a meteorological observation at this location also and do the short-range weather forecast.
A surface meteorological observatory operates at the centre alongside a network of 17 lightning detection systems spread across Odisha. These detect lightning signatures and issue early warnings, 30 to 45 minutes prior to the thunderstorms, directly to local communities via WhatsApp. This project is a collaborative effort powered by IITM Pune, NRSC Hyderabad and Earth Networks USA, making it one of the most comprehensive weather monitoring systems in the region. We've also installed automatic weather stations with air quality monitors, running 24/7 to deliver real-time environmental data. Our weather research forecasting model, WRF, operating at a high 9-kilometer resolution for 72 hours, helps predict extreme weather events, from heavy rainfall to heat waves and thunderstorms. Complementing CEC's work is the Centre for Climate Smart Agriculture, CCSA. Research at CCSA focuses on the impacts of climate change on agriculture, along with adaptation and mitigation strategies, powered by AI and machine learning.
The center is executing prestigious BRICS project awarded to the center recently to the university. So where the partners from Brazil, South Africa and China are involved. The major focus is to study the mechanism of drought propagation, mainly the short-term drought propagation under the climate change scenario, the mechanism of propagation and the accuracy of prediction of drought and the drought resilient measures, how to develop to minimize the adverse effect of drought.
The present scenario, the most challenging task for mankind is the climate change and how we can adapt it. The climate change is a global issue, but its influence is very localized, and the adaptation strategy have to follow as per the requirement, and we are gearing that respect.
Our outreach goes beyond research, engaging students, farmers, policymakers and the private sector through awareness programs, technical guidance and hands-on training. Together, CEC and CCSA are shaping Odisha's future, where science meets sustainability and innovation empowers resilience.
Siksha O Anusandhan, more popularly known as SOA, has a rich legacy of 28 years. SOA, which came into existence in 1996, floated several institutions imparting professional education in engineering, medical sciences, and management sciences. SOA is the fruition of the dream of Professor Dr. Manoj Ranjan Naik, an academician par excellence who was motivated to set up a high-quality center of professional education in Odisha. As it grew into a socially inclusive center of higher education, SOA was conferred the status of a deemed to be university by the Ministry of Education on July 17, 2007. It has since emerged as a center of superlative professional education with focus on research. The multi-campus infrastructure of SOA is home to more than 17,000 students. Among them are around 400 foreign students from 30 countries who have chosen SOA to chart out a future for themselves. Providing much stress on women empowerment and education, more than 54% of the university's students are females. Similarly, more than 42% of all employees, including faculty members, are women. SOA has set up 12 constituent institutions imparting education in varied subjects. They are Institute of Technical Education and Research, ITER, the Faculty of Engineering and Technology. ITER started in the academic year 1996-1997. Institute of Business and Computer Studies, IBCS, the Faculty of Management Sciences. IBCS came into existence in the year 1997-1998. Some Nursing College, SNC, the Faculty of Nursing. School of Hotel Management, SHM, the Faculty of Hospitality and Tourism Management. School of Pharmaceutical Sciences, SPS, the Faculty of Pharmaceutical Sciences. SNC, SHM and SPS were set up in the academic year 2004-2005. Institute of Dental Sciences, IDS, the Faculty of Dental Sciences. It came into existence in the academic year 2006-2007. Institute of Medical Sciences and Some Hospital, IMS and SH, the Faculty of Medical Sciences. The Medical College and Hospital started in the academic year of 2007-2008. SOA National Institute of Law, SNIL, the Faculty of Legal Studies started in 2011-2012. Institute of Agricultural Sciences, IAS, the Faculty of Agricultural Sciences. It came into existence in the academic year 2013-2014. Institute of Veterinary Sciences and Animal Husbandry, IBS and AH, the Faculty of Veterinary Sciences. The Medical Institute for Treating Animals started to
Okay, good morning. On behalf of SOA Deemed to be University, I cordially welcome all the ambassadors from different countries. Dr. Mrutyunjay Mahapatra, Director General IMD, Professor Neeta Mohanty, Vice Chancellor, Professor Prasanjit Mohanty, Pro Vice Chancellor, and Professor UC Mohanty, distinguished academician and professor in Center for Climate Smart Agriculture. Now I request all the dignitaries and ambassadors to please on dais. Our accompanying faculty members should accompany them and escort them to stage for the holy lighting of lamp to be witnessed by Mahaprabhu Jagannath. Jai Jagannath! All the accompanying professors are requested to accompany ambassadors on stage along with other dignitaries. Good morning. As all of you know what is happening in the state of Orissa, this is all happening in the presence and being witnessed by Mahaprabhu Jagannath, elder brother Mahaprabhu Balabhadra and Ma Subhadra. To have a gratitude, respect, regard and to make your life peaceful and holy. We now request on behalf of University, all the ambassadors, Pro Vice Chancellor, DG IMD, Vice Chancellor, to have the holy lighting of lamp. Let us proceed for the lighting of lamp.
शुभं कुरुत्वं
Thank you. Now we have the national anthem. One and all present here to be remain standing.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
International Conclave on Climate Change and Global Warming. It's really a very burning and important topic for all of us, whether you are related to that area or not, whether you are a core component of that prospect or not. But we have to be very, very careful, and we have to deal very carefully with this situation, because as all of you know how world is going towards this, or how the countries are affected by this unpredictable climate, weather, whatever you so call. And the International Conclave will be having a deliberation spread over 2 days on the issues and prospects in connection with the climate change and global warming. I am not taking a much of a time. There are so many dignified speakers. Those will be delivering their ideas, experiences with you for next 48 hours. Now I request my student volunteers to present the flower bouquet, having a part of grand welcome to this distinguished guest on dais. Let's have a big round of applause for everyone present here. Atithi Devo Bhavo. All of you must know. So as a part of that, now I request my students from Campus 1, Faculty of Engineering Technology, to perform a dance mingled with soft music to welcome the guest on and off the dais. Students, please.
जय भगवती देवी नमो वरदे जय भगवती देवी नमो वरदे जय भगवती देवी नमो वरदे जय पाप विनाशिनी बहुफल दे मां जय पाप विनाशिनी बहुफल दे नमो वरदे जय भगवती देवी नमो वरदे जय भगवती देवी नमो वरदे जय शुंभ निशुंभ कपाल धरे जय शुंभ निशुंभ कपाल धरे प्रणमामि तु देवी नराति हरे नमो वरदे जय भगवती देवी नमो वरदे या देवी सर्वभूतेषु मातृरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः जय चन्द्र दिवाकर नेत्रधरे जय पावक भूषित वक्रभरे जय चन्द्र दिवाकर नेत्रधरे जय पावक भूषित वक्रभरे जय भैरव देव नीलीन परे जय भैरव देव नीलीन परे जय अंधक दत्य विमोक्ष करे नमो वरदे जय भगवती देवी नमो वरदे जय महिषा विमर्दिनी शूलकरे जय लोक समस्त पाप हरे जय महिषा विमर्दिनी शूलकरे जय लोक समस्त पाप हरे जय देवी पितामह विष्णुनते जय भास्कर शक्र शिरोवन नमो वरदे जय भगवती देवी
नयना कविदर्शिनी दुःख हरे जय व्याधि विनाशिनी मोक्ष करे जय वाञ्छित दायिनी सिद्धि हरे नमो वरदे जय भगवती देवी नमो वरदे जय पाप विनाशिनी बहु फल दे जय पाप विनाशिनी बहु फल दे नमो वरदे जय भगवती देवी नमो वरदे जय भगवती देवी नमो वरदे नमो वरदे नमो वरदे वन दुर्गा महादुर्गा गिरि दुर्गा ततः परम् जय दुर्गा शूली दुर्गा दुर्गा महिषामर्दिनी शक्ति दुर्गा घोर दुर्गा चण्ड दुर्गा ततः क्रमम् इति समोहिनी तन्त्रे दुर्गा भेदा नवोदिता दुर्गा भेदा नवोदिता दुर्गा भेदा नवोदिता
Performance by engineers to showcase the epitomic dance and cultural heritage of state of Orissa, the Odissi dance. It is also popularly acclaimed and accepted internationally and globally. Let's have a big round of applause for all of you for this beautiful, amazing, mind-blowing and heart-touching performance by my dear beloved students. Let's have a look what the university is doing. And as you all go through digitalization, there is a digital showcase of SOA, Siksha O Anusandhan. Let us proceed.
Siksha O Anusandhan, more popularly known as SOA, has a rich legacy of 28 years. SOA, which came into existence in 1996, floated several institutions imparting professional education in engineering, medical sciences and management sciences. SOA is the fruition of the dream of Professor Dr. Manoj Ranjan Naik, an academician par excellence who was motivated to set up a high-quality center of professional education in Odisha. As it grew into a socially inclusive center of higher education, SOA was conferred the status of a deemed to be university by the Ministry of Education on July 17, 2007. It has since emerged as a center of superlative professional education with focus on research. The multi-campus infrastructure of SOA is home to more than 17,000 students. Among them are around 400 foreign students from 30 countries who have chosen SOA to chart out a future for themselves. Providing much stress on women empowerment and education, more than 54% of the university's students are females. Similarly, more than 42% of all employees, including faculty members, are women. SOA has set up 12 constituent institutions imparting education in varied subjects. They are Institute of Technical Education and Research, ITER, the Faculty of Engineering and Technology. ITER started in the academic year 1996-1997. Institute of Business and Computer Studies, IBCS, the Faculty of Management Sciences. IBCS came into existence in the year 1997-1998. Some Nursing College, SNC, the Faculty of Nursing. School of Hotel Management, SHM, the Faculty of Hospitality and Tourism Management. School of Pharmaceutical Sciences, SPS, the Faculty of Pharmaceutical Sciences. SNC, SHM and SPS was set up in the academic year 2004-2005. Institute of Dental Sciences, IDS, the Faculty of Dental Sciences. It came into existence in the academic year 2006-2007. Institute of Medical Sciences and Some Hospital, IMS and SH, the Faculty of Medical Sciences. The Medical College and Hospital started in the academic year of 2007-2008. SOA National Institute of Law, SNIL, the Faculty of Legal Studies started in 2011-2012. Institute of Agricultural Sciences, IAS, the Faculty of Agricultural Sciences. It came into existence in the academic year 2013-2014. Institute of Veterinary Sciences and Animal Husbandry, IVS and AH, the Faculty of Veterinary Sciences. The Medical Institute for Treating Animals started 2 years ago. Institute of Medical Sciences and Some Hospital 2, Phulnakhara Campus. Some Nursing College, SNC 2, Phulnakhara Campus. SOA has continuously figured among the top universities of the country as per the National Institutional Ranking Framework or NIRF rankings. The university found place in the top 20 institutions of higher education on 8 occasions since 2016. SOA was ranked 14th in the country in the university category by NIRF in 2024. The Institute of Technical Education and Research, ITER, was ranked 26th by NIRF in 2024. The Institute of Medical Sciences and Some Hospital was ranked 21st, while the Institute of Dental Sciences and SOA National Institute of Law were placed 9th in the country. the National Assessment and Accreditation Council, NAAC, which has termed SOA as socially inclusive, has re-accredited it in 2022 with the highest grade of A++. SOA has been internationally ranked by QS and the World University Rankings. As part of the Atal Innovative Mission, an Atal Incubation Center established in ITER campus, which has been designated as AIC SOA Foundation. The 5th generation wireless technology 5G service for Odisha, which promises faster data speed, low latency and supports a massive number of connected devices, was inaugurated in SOA on January 5, 2023. The university has got approval for use of 100 MHz bandwidth of 5G new radio for R&D and on-campus educational purpose. The 2,700-bedded IMS and Some Hospital, which has become one of the most sought-after healthcare centers in the state, deploys excellent modern and advanced diagnostic, surgical and life-saving equipment. The hospital extends quality medical facilities for patients at affordable cost. The IMS and Some Hospital has the approval of 250 seats in MBBS course. A separate multi-super specialty quaternary care hospital, Some Ultimate Medicare, has been established by SOA in Bhubaneswar, which extends state-of-the-art healthcare to the people. This 575-bedded hospital has become one of the most prominent healthcare centers in eastern India. Both IMS and Some Hospital and Some Ultimate Medicare has been accredited by leading healthcare organizations NABL and NABH. SOA has set up 1100-bedded IMS and Some Hospital 2 near Phulnakhara on the Bhubaneswar-Cuttack highway, and 200-bedded IMS and Some Hospital 3 at Sitalapalli in Barampur to expand its healthcare outreach. IMS and Some Hospital 2 has received approval to run as a medical college with an intake of 150 students into the MBBS course from the current academic session. All the 4 hospitals together have a total bed strength of around 4,500. When the COVID-19 pandemic struck in 2020, SOA stepped up to assist the state government in battling the disease by operating 10 COVID hospitals and centers in Odisha in collaboration with the administration. It provided doctors, nurses and paramedics who worked round the clock to save lives. Jago, an initiative of the university with students at the forefront, has been working among slum children, taking care of their education, nutrition and hygiene.
Showcase the digital version of achievements of SOA deemed to be university. As a part of grand welcome customary by the university, now we request Professor Prasanjit Mohanty, famous dermatologist as well as the Pro Vice Chancellor of SOA deemed to be university, to have the welcome address on this auspicious occasion.
Namaskar and a very warm welcome to all of you. His Excellency Fernando Xavier Buccelli-Var from Ecuador, His Excellency Xavier Manuel Paulrich-Weller from Peru, His Excellency Alberto Antonio Guani Amaril from Uruguay, His Excellency Antonio Enrico Bartoli from Italy, His Excellency Juan Antonio March Pujol from Spain, His Excellency Omar Casaneda Solaris from Guatemala, Her Excellency Latin Ashoshi from Seychelles, and His Excellency Kasab Tiwari from Guyana. Our Honorable DG IMD the Mahapatra and our UC Mahanti, our Emirate Professor. Honorable dignitaries, esteemed delegates from across the globe, respected scientists, environmentalists, policymakers, distinguished guests and dear friends. It is with immense pride and deep respect that we all from Siksha O Anusandhan Deemed University stand before you today in this historic and culturally vibrant city of Bhubaneswar, the temple city of India, to host this significant international conclave on climate change and global warming. Today we gather here not just to representatives of nations, institutions or communities, but as stewards to our shared planet, united by a cause that transcends borders, ideologies and generations. Climate changes and global warming are no longer distant threats. They are present realities affecting our environment, our economies and our very way of life. As Odisha itself has witnessed from devastating cyclones, disastrous floods to worrisome rising sea levels along our coastline, we know too well the urgent need for collaborative action, but we also know that together with knowledge, innovation and resolve, we can shape a sustainable future. This conclave brings together the world's best minds, climatologists, technologists, policymakers, activists and youth leaders under one roof to deliberate on solutions, share insights and ignite the spark of global cooperation. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to each one of you for your presence, for your commitment to the climate cause, and for traveling from near and far to be part of this historic event. Let Bhubaneswar be the birthplace of ideas that will ripple across continents. Let this conclave not only be a platform for discussion, but a launchpad for decisive, bold and inclusive action. Once again, I welcome you all with great warmth and anticipation to the land of the Lord Jagannath, and to this University of SOA, which is such a great university. Let us make these days of dialogue, debate and discovering meaningful for our earth, for our people and for future generations. Thank you. Dhanyavad. Jai Jagannath. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Professor Prosenjit Mohanty. What has happened, what will happen, and why all it is happening in connection with the climate change and global warming? I am not the right person. I am inviting the right person, experienced, a figured out person of India, Professor Umacharan Mohanty, the distinguished academician in the area of climate change and global warming, for having a brief note on this International Conclave on climate change and global warming issues and prospects.
Thank you very much. Excellencies, ambassadors, secretaries and senior officials from various embassies, Dr. Mrutyunjay Mahapatra, Director General of Meteorology, India Meteorological Department, our beloved DC of the today, Professor Nita Mohanty, Professor Prosenjit Mohanty, the Pro Vice Chancellor, Registrar and all the Vice Chancellor, Pro Vice Chancellors, Director ITR, all the Deans, Directors of the different centers, esteemed eminent speakers for this conclave, and my dear participants and students. It is really a privilege for us to be together here to have this 2 days International Conclave on climate change and global warming issues and prospects. This initiative we started very shortly, only 2 weeks back. But I should very sincerely thank to all our excellencies, ambassadors, and also our esteemed and eminent speakers. We have 17 speakers all across India and covering various aspects of climate change and global warming. What are the observations, what are the issues, what are the impacts, and what are the adaptation strategies, and what will be required for sustainable development and peace in the world. Because that is the most important issue now, because all of us, we know that the corona was very short-lived. It came quickly and vanished quickly. But climate change is not so. It is very slow. It is started since 1850 when we started industrialization, and 1880 when we start first burning the fossil and fuels, particularly coal and petroleum, to generate energy. We are now so comfortable with all technological developments. But with all progresses and developments, there is something which is not good or which is not accommodated to society. That is the release of greenhouse gases that all of you know, and global warming or climate change is no more a issue that is known to all of you, and it is a global issue. But its impact and its adaptation is very much localized. It cannot be universal. So therefore, this conclave, we invited the 3 delegates from very distinguished institutions like ISRO, IMD, which are a premier organization for the weather and climate in the countries, Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, the most prominent research institute in our country on tropical meteorology. In fact, they for first time established a Center for Climate Change Research, CCCR, and where we developed Earth system model which participates in all these IPCCR report, particularly 6 and going for the 7, where actually India is playing a very dramatic role. And in addition to that, we have extreme eminent speakers from IIT Bombay, IIT Kharagpur, IIT Bhubaneswar, and our institute also we have 2 distinguished centers, Center for Climate Change and Climate Environment and Center for Climate Smart Agriculture. So all these things are geared towards understanding and taking appropriate actions so that we can at least mitigate, because as I told, it started 1850, but if it go on and as it is projected, which will be presented as sessions move on, so I will not spend more time. So if we come to the tipping point, already we have come to tipping point of 1.5 degree or so, rise from the 1850 to 1900, if you take the mean from that to today, so we have already in the point of 1.5 or so. And if it will continue, then to mitigate it, it will take hundreds of years to come back to normal. It's not like corona, which came quickly and vanished quickly and taking away so many lives. So here also, actually, if it is go on the way it is moving, if it is projected to a tipping point of about 5 degree or so, and what will happen, you can imagine. This is the global things. Local things are the more serious because we have lot of urban development, urbanization, and we are happy that you all are visiting this city, Bhubaneswar, which is smart city number 1 in India, and it is a city of pilgrimage, it is a city of temples, and it is also a city of knowledge. We have many institutions of very repute, including our SOA, Deemed University, we have IITs, Bhubaneswar, we have NICER, we have AIMS, and in all branches, many others are there. I am not telling all. So this is a city of knowledge also. So this city also have done a lot of work to maintain it, and so also India has taken up several missions to mitigate the challenges of climate change and its impact on our society. Just I can give one example. Our India Meteorology Department, which completed 150 years recently, and they have the longest year of data on various aspects of the weather and climate, including the climate change, obviously. And though actually our number of cyclones may be remaining same or decreasing, but the extreme cyclones are increasing, that you all know and we will present you. But if you see the casualties, which has last two cyclones, we have 0 casualties, which is a dream for us when we started this thing. So this is a congratulations to IMD. In particular, I take this opportunity to congratulate our Director General of Meteorology and his officials and scientists, because it is a dream of everybody that how to achieve, because India is such a place, Bay of Bengal is such a basin which gets actually in last 300 years, if you see casualties of with a single cyclone 5,000, we contribute 74% out of 100, you can see. So it is a very vulnerable, but now we could achieve that. So it is all because of the various, besides the impacting weather predictions and warning, we have also disaster management, like we have National Disaster Management Authority, we have State Disaster Management Authorities, we have National Rapid Disaster Mitigation Forces, and so on, and also our press and media plays an extremely important role to build up a capacity and warning, public awareness. So all these things are very excellent. So with this short period, we could gather about 17 as I told speakers. They will cover various parts, starting from observation to modeling to impact to societal impacts and sustainable development. So I don't take more time, but I thank my sincere thanks to all our dignitaries, excellencies of ambassadors, and all my speakers for this conference, conclave, who have come with very short notice, because we don't have time really to organize the entire thing, to arrange the international conclave, you know it takes. And this is a conclave where we have only eminent people there giving their lectures, and we'll get a lot of interaction with all the participants, and finally we'll come to some conclusions and some recommendations which may bring us further in the country as well as in Odisha to do something towards adaptation and mitigation of this baggage due to climate change. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor U.C. Mohanty. You all were listening about what is happening and what is the role of SWA, what is the contribution of SWA. Now I am calling someone who is a son of the soil, and in my own perception, opinion, he is now considered one of the celebrity figure in the meteorology, what you can say, aspects of meteorology. Dr. Mrutyunjay Mahapatra, Director General of Meteorology of Indian Meteorology Department. Now I am inviting Dr. Mahapatra to share his experience in connection with this climate change and global warming.
Namaskar. Good morning to all of you. Your Excellencies, Honorable Ambassadors and High Commissioners from Guatemala, Seychelles, Uruguay, Spain, Italy, Guyana, Peru, and Ecuador, and distinguished participants from different embassies. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Amita Mohanty, so are you. Honorable Pro-Vice Chancellor, Professor Prasenjit Mohanty, distinguished professors, deans, and faculties of SOADU, distinguished invitees, delegates, students, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I congratulate Honorable Vice Chancellor and the team for organizing this International Conclave on climate change and global warming, issues and prospects. I especially thank because in a very short notice, the university has been able to organize such a big event which can be guessed from the number of participants in this hall. I especially express my deep gratitude for inviting me to this conclave and to be part of the deliberations and discussions. As all of us know that climate change is an ongoing phenomenon. Climate has changed in the past, climate is changing now, climate also will change in the future. Then what is the new? The new thing is that the rate of change of climate has been multiplied in recent years. If you go to the history, it all started with the beginning of the industrial age around 1850. Prior to that, there was no such intervention by the human activities. There was no such anthropogenic causes for change of climate. But since then, as the industry accelerated, we all, knowingly or unknowingly, contributed towards the artificial generation of various types of greenhouse gases, like, say, carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, methane, and many more. There are certain gases, like carbon dioxide was there in the atmosphere, but we ventured inadvertently or otherwise to accelerate our socioeconomic activity by disturbing this carbon dioxide cycle. Similarly, there has been growth of populations, there has been urbanization, there has been introduction of many types of transportations and many other activities, which has been identified as the various types of sources contributing towards the cause of the climate change in an accelerated manner. Similarly, if you look at the sink, the forest is one of the most important sink which can absorb the carbon dioxide and provide us the oxygen. And all of us remember how critical it was, the oxygen, during the period of COVID. But however, we went on destroying our forest or deforestations, and we did not care about conserving the forest and reforestations. But however, luckily, there have been many steps to go for reforestations and to reduce the deforestations. Similarly, the ocean is one of the most important carbon sink. It can absorb the carbon dioxides. But if it absorbs carbon dioxide, the water becomes acidic. The pH value is continuously becoming favorable for acidic. It becomes acidic, it becomes unfavorable for the aquatic animals, the plants. And hence it can affect not only the ocean, but also it can affect the human society, the lives of all the living beings. Similarly, if we just look at the wetlands are another source of carbon sink who can absorb the carbon dioxide. And all of us know, out of greed, we all go for occupying the wetlands. And by the way, we do not find even the ponds in the villages now. So as a result, the capacity of the natural environment to adjust itself, to maintain the sustenance, has become a question. So all these, like the Abhimanyu in Mahabharata, knowingly this Chakravyuha of climate change, we go on and go on to disturb the environment, and hence we ourselves inherit the various adverse impacts of the climate change. We also know that this impact of climate change is not limited to our generation. It can have the impact on the future generations to come. Say, for example, if you today take a pledge to stop the generation of carbon dioxide or any other gases, it will not stop in the environment. The life cycle of these gases are about some of the 60 years, some of the 100 years. So therefore, there could be the generations after generations which can be impacted, even if you go by the various types of interventions to reduce the concentration of greenhouse gases. So therefore, it is sooner the better. We should work towards this direction where we can increase the sinks, we can preserve the sinks, and we can reduce the sources of greenhouse gases, by which we can reduce the impact of this climate change. The climate change has resulted in rise in temperature. If you just know that it is 1.15 degrees Celsius. And last year, 2024, was the warmest year. The last 20 years, if you just look at, you will find that many warmest years has been recorded in the past 2 decades. It is not limited only to those countries where generation is more. It affects the poor the maximum. The least developed countries, poor countries, island nations, coastal stations are worst affected. The developing countries are also worst affected by the adverse impact of this climate change. It does not distinguish between the poor and rich. And therefore, it is our responsibility as a human being, as an organization, as a country, or as an United Nations to address the requirements and mitigate the adverse impacts of climate change. When I talk about the adverse impacts of the climate change, it is not limited to the word climate, as we see in the title. It is not limited to the temperature. It is not simply the global warming, as I told you, but it has got far-reaching impacts in terms of, it can have the impact on the extreme weather. Just a few examples were told by Professor U.C. Mohanty, that it can lead to increase in frequency intensity of the heavy rainfall events, especially in the tropics. It can lead to increase in heat wave conditions. It can lead to increase in thunderstorms and lightning frequencies. And it can lead to the intensification of the cyclones, though the number of cyclones are decreasing globally and also in Bay of Bengal. Apart from this impact on the extreme weather, you will find that it impacts our life and livelihood. It has the impact in terms of food productions. For example, it is estimated that there could be about 6 to 10% reduction in production of rice and wheat in India because of rise in temperature to 2 degrees Celsius or 1.5 degrees Celsius. It can have the impact of the flora and fauna. It can have the impact on our ecosystem. Just like we like to sit here under the AC conditions, the fish community also like to stay in colder water. But with the rise in temperature, the sea surface temperature is risen by about 1 degree Celsius. And because of that, the fish are migrating to the deep sea. They are not available near the coastal water. So as a result, the fishery community are worst affected. And just taking an example of India, the fishery is such an industry which is contributing the maximum export. And now fishing community are contributing such a lot towards the economy of the country. So if the fish gets impacted because of the climate change, it is not simply the fish but also the fishery community. The economy of India will be affected. So like that, the many countries, those ambassadors are present here, the High Commissioner present here, they are also experiencing a lot of adverse impacts. The need of the day has been understood long back, since 1992, when UNFCCC came into existence in a framework for climate change convention. Thereafter, we come up with various initiatives, central level, at the global level, at the national level. There has been initiation of the Conference of Parties. There is an initiation by the global action plans and the national action plans. And finally, we found that, yes, there is need for some other interventions. When in 2022, United Nations and World Meteorological Organizations came together to give a clarion call that early warning for all. We should have early warning for the extreme weather for each and every person. Why it is? Because we found that at present, only 50% of the countries have got the early warning systems. Other 50% countries do not have early warning systems. If you do not have early warning system, what will happen then? Because if you consider the disaster management, there are various aspects like preparedness, prevention, mitigations, early warning. When I can save or we can save our lives with an early warning 24 hours ahead, we cannot save ourselves by changing our house from mud house to pakka house within say 24 hours. It is a slow process. Therefore, early warning is a major component which is being taken up globally by the United Nations and World Health Organizations. But here, the least developed countries, poor people, they cannot afford to. So therefore, there is a need for international resources, international collaborations, and that has been a part and parcel of various conference of parties in the recent time. I am sure in today's deliberations and discussions, we will find ways and means, we will find recommendations to address all these requirements, to understand the impact of climate change, to understand the climate change itself, and hence to bring out the adaptive measures and mitigation measures. I am very happy that many doctors and students performing medicine are present here. Do you know that the human health is one of the most important casualty because of the impact of the climate change? The livestock are the second most important. Considering all these things, the Sustainable Development Goals also taken up in Sendai Framework in 2015, keeping the target of 2030, so that we can give a right to life, the livelihood, climate actions. The climate actions play a dominant role. So all these are being taken up at the national level, international level, or the state level. Climate action plans have been come up in the country. So what is our responsibility? At a micro level, we can decide, we can influence the entire globe by following a practice which is sustainable, by following a practice which will not further disturb our natural climate, which can recoup the original climate, which can ensure our future generation to have a sustainable development, keeping our climate safe. Now let us work together on these special occasions. Take a pledge that we will work together individually and at the global level and national level to ensure our climate, to ensure all the climate actions for our safety and security, not only for this generation, but the future generations. I hope this workshop or conclave will be a huge success and will inspire each and every person to take up the positive steps for the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Mahapatra. Now it is the time to invite all our overseas guests, all His Excellency, and let I invite His Excellency Mr. Juan Antonio Marz Pujol, the Ambassador of Spain to India, for his kind address.
Good morning, dear students, faculty members, with special recognition to the president of this great university, Professor Naik, and the director, Professor Dr. Mahendra Prasad, who has made a great effort to make this event possible today. So also I'm very grateful to be accompanied by such important ambassadors who have come with me from Delhi. And I would like to say that I'm very touched by the fact that this event has started with a marvelous dance, because through that the university has put as main point the beauty of the art, the beauty of the positive things, because all what is about today is how we create a beautiful destiny for humanity. And a beautiful destiny for humanity goes through three axes. First, to create the culture of peace. We want leaders who build the architecture of peace, not the architecture of power. We, the citizens, we will build the power of humanity through the discoveries, through the innovations, but the leaders have to create the peace. And the new generation has to be very much against any initiative of rearmament, any initiative that goes to buying arms, and has to say, for us, the priority is to deliver a planet where the citizens flourish, where the climate change is addressed, and where health is the commodity that maintains all united and with future. So let's work in that direction and address today one of our main challenges, that is climate change and global warming. I would say that climate change is not a distant threat. It's one of the most defining challenges of your generation and mine. And while the science may seem overwhelming at times, the responsibility we share is not a burden. It is an opportunity. We are entering the era of the intelligence. We have to understand that the human beings, we have been here for 200,000 years, and it is only in the last 150 years that we are entering in this new era of the intelligence, an era where we had 2 million students in the university in 1900 in the whole planet, and we have today 350. In an era where we could not talk with someone who was in the other part of the world, and today we can see and talk with someone who may be 7,000 kilometers away. So climate change is giving us opportunity, is an opportunity to have a new sensibility to the planet and to develop the initiatives that will stop what the science has had as side effect, negative. Let us begin to understand what we think it is climate change. The Earth has always fluctuated, but what we are seeing today is different. Since the late 19th century, the global average temperature has increased by approximately 1.2 degrees centigrade. This may sound small, but it has profound consequences. Sea levels have risen more than 20 centimeters since 1900. The Arctic is losing nearly 13% of the sea ice per decade. Extreme weather events like droughts, floods are increasingly in both frequency and severity. The root of all this is the human activity. The burning of fossil fuels, deforestation, industrial agriculture. So all this is creating these great gases like CO and methane in our atmosphere that is blocking the health of our planet. Spain is deeply committed to address this crisis. We have proposed as measure for our country to achieve carbon neutrality by 2050, to ban the sale of combustion engine vehicles by 2024, ensure 100% renewable electricity by 2050. And we support the great initiatives of the European community and the United Nations. But the key thing is how the new generation will be effective in addressing this. How the new generation is going to be the power to say to the leaders, this, not arms, this is the priority. We want the whole money that goes to arms to go to fight against the climate change, to support our health, to give us our opportunities. So I think that as university students, you are the scientists, the engineers, the entrepreneurs, and the leaders of tomorrow, but also you are the voice of today. Your role is essential. In fact, some of the most powerful climate movements in recent years have been led by young people across continents, cultures, and communities. Universities are not just centers of learning. They are incubators of solutions. They are incubators of powerful initiatives. You have access to research, creativity, and collaboration. You are in a unique position. Let us look ahead. If we continue with current emissions trends, scientists project that global temperatures will rise by 2.7 centigrades by the end of this century. This would mean severe food and water insecurity for hundreds of millions, collapse of ecosystems of the Amazon and coral reefs, and massive migration, possibly over 1 billion displaced people by 2050. Dear students, let me close with a thought. Climate change is our second challenge of our era. Obviously, our first challenge is to build a culture of peace. We stopped a world war with 2 nuclear bombs. Now we have 14,000 nuclear bombs prepared to be displaced. This is the human disappearance of man and the planet in 1 minute. So you have to be against all the populist movements that play in favor of power, of confrontations. You have to say, you know, I have my life flourish, and all through a culture of peace. This will be acceptable. But once we get that, the second challenge, the second great thing, is to make of this planet a safe place for the future generations. And this is to address the big risk of global warming and climate change. And as Spanish ambassador, I want to say to you, you are not alone. We in Spain, in Europe, in Latin America, around the world, we stand with you. The solutions are without our grasp if we are bold enough to take them. I think that you have 2 main tasks ahead. One, a personal task. You have to make of your life a work of art. This is key. The second, as member of a collective society, of a race, we have to be sure that this planet goes towards the beauty. And towards the beauty is to stop any movement against wars and to work in favor of stopping any deterioration of our climate and to move all the resources towards education and health. Your generation will determine the outcome of this story. And I have faith in you, but what is more important, we are fully dependent on you. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you, His Excellency, Mr. Juan Antonio Mazpul, for his valuable experience sharing among all of us. Now I request His Excellency, Mr. Javier Manuel Paulrich Velar, who is the Ambassador of Peru to India, for his kind address.
Good morning, distinguished Vice Chancellor, respected faculty members, researchers, students, fellow diplomats, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great honor to join you as a chief guest, as other colleagues, at this important international conference held in the vibrant city of Bhubaneswar, a cradle of ancient wisdom and a growing center of modern learning. Peru is a country of mega diversity and many altitudes, from sea level to over 6,000 meters. And today, I would like to focus on a topic that perfectly illustrates the local consequences of a global crisis: the melting of tropical glaciers. Peru is home to 71% of the world's tropical glaciers, mostly located in the Andes mountain range. These glaciers are not just ice, they are life. They store fresh water, regulate river flows, protect biodiversity, and even shape the spiritual belief of our Andean communities. But we are losing them rapidly. The surface area of Peru's glaciers has shrunk by more than 50% in recent decades. Iconic glaciers like Quelcaya, once the largest tropical glacier on Earth, are retreating at alarming rates. The retreat of glaciers in Peru creates multiple interconnected crises. Water insecurity. Cities like Lima, our capital, depend on glacier melt for water, especially during the dry season. Ecosystems loss. Species such as the glacier finch, the only bird known to nest in tropical glacier, are facing extinction. Cultural erosion. Glaciers are sacred in the Andean culture. Festivals like Holy Reef, recognized by UNESCO, are held at the feet of sacred glacier. Disaster risk. Melting glaciers create unstable glacier lakes. In 2021, the Upiscocha Glacier Lake nearly caused a destructive flood in the Ancash region in the north of Peru. In recognition of this crisis, the United Nations declared this year as the International Year of Glacier Preservation, following a Peruvian initiative. March 21st is now observed as the World Glaciers Day. These are not more commemorations. They are calls to urgency, awareness, and especially action. Early this year, we opened an exhibition called Glaciers, Beauty and Fragility in Lima, organized by our Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the National Institute for Research on Glacier and Mountain Ecosystem. It combines science and art to make visible what is silently vanishing. Through breathtaking photographs, the exhibit highlights glaciers as water resources, cultural symbols, biodiversity hubs, natural laboratories, tourist attractions, and unfortunately threatened ecosystems. Despite contributing only in my country to 0.2% of global greenhouse emissions, Peru has declared a national climate emergency and updated its national strategy on climate change to 2050. We aim to reduce our emission by 40% by 2030. But we cannot do this alone. We echo the call for the COP30 Brazilian presidency for a global mutirao, a global movement of collective action, because in our case, to save glaciers, we need more science, more finance, more solidarity, and more international cooperation. When a glacier melts, it's not just ice that disappears. It is a future that dissolves. Let us work together, India and Peru, governments and academia, citizens and scientific, to preserve this frozen time capsule. Thank you.
Thank you, His Excellency Mr. Javier Manuel Paul Ritzpeller from Peru, for his valuable insights shared among us. Now it is the time to invite His Excellency Mr. Antonio Enrico Bertoli from Italy, our Ambassador to Italy to India.
Good morning, everybody. I must confess that I am excited to be, this in SOA, because I can witness firsthand the amazing past and and the energy of the future represented by you. And so I thank really the President, the Vice Chancellor, the Director, Prasad, and all your team for this invitation. And it's the right approach because we are discussing a global problem, so we must find global solutions. Just a few days ago, the Guadalupe River, enlarged by massive rain, disrupted its banks in Texas, sweeping away an entire summer camp. Over 100 people lost their lives, most of them children. Nobody saw that coming, local authorities admitted, recalling that no flood of such magnitude had occurred in that region. This tragedy brought to my mind another disaster that unfolded just a few weeks ago in the northeastern states of India. Dozens of deaths and thousands displaced because of relentless monsoon rains, floods, and landslides. The fury of the weather conditions overwhelmed villages and infrastructure. Last year, Italy broke its own record for extreme weather events. A total of 3,631 events, 3 times more than in 2018, including 1,600 episodes of intense rainfall. Italy registered a record temperature increase last year, plus 1.5 degree, compared to the 1991-2020 average versus plus 0.65 globally. Well, it may sound paradoxical, but I think it's also meaningful that in an era of technological progress and development, these intelligence, this technological progress does not guarantee human domination over nature. Nature seems, on the contrary, increasingly out of control with unpredictable events. And climate change is not only an undeniable reality, it represents the most defining and consequential challenge of our time. And climate change and global warming are borderless threats, and they profoundly affect our society, habits, and economies. It's not just a romantic vision. We love trees and animals. It affects economy. According to a recent report by Stanley Morgan, 57% of businesses in Europe, I will try to, of course, provide you with the perspective mainly on Europe and Italy, say that extreme heat and exceptionally strong storms have negatively impacted their operations. Social cohesion and intergenerational solidarity aspects also to bear in mind. Climate change and global warming place a significant strain on our ability to meet current needs of our time without compromising the ability of future generations to meet theirs. All nations, international organizations, civil society are called to unite and define concrete, timely and effective actions to curb the negative impacts. Italy has long placed the fight against climate change and global warming at the top by joining the Paris Agreement, backing the Glasgow Climate Pact, respectively 2015, 2021. We committed to a goal of limiting global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees and achieving climate neutrality by mid-century. At the European level, together with our partners, we have set an even more ambitious target, to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by at least 55% by 2030 from the 1990 levels, fit for 55. Following the profound economic recession triggered by the COVID, we have drafted a recovery resilience plan channeling approximately 67 billion into ecological and sustainable transition sectors. We are investing in climate and renewable energy about 55% of the total amount of some 200 billion facility scheme granted on us by the EU. And our commitment have also translated into legislations, concrete actions, and policy initiatives. Within the EU, we joined the ETS, the emission trading system, the cap and trade mechanism, setting up a market to limit greenhouse gas emissions. And we are adapting to energy efficiency standards for buildings and vehicles. We committed to increase the share of renewable energy in the EU gross final energy consumption to at least 42% by 2030. We have our national instruments. This is the case of the 4.4 billion euro climate fund, the largest contribution for climate and environment of this kind by any EU member state. Its purpose is to finance major climate and environmental projects in developing countries, particularly so in our southern neighborhood. The Climate Fund is the cornerstone of the so-called Mattei Plan, which is an Italian government initiative launched for a fair and equal partnership between Europe and Africa. Basically, for example, we are pilot projects in many countries, biofuel, for example, in Kenya, hydrogen, green hydrogen in Algeria, and so on and so forth, solar in many countries. And during G7 presidency of Italy last year, we also facilitated the adoption of Carta di Venaria, the name of the residence of the former kings of Italy where the summit took place. And this new chart introduced ambitious goals, such as eliminating unmitigating coal power and achieving predominant or full decarbonization of the energy sector by 2035. We also, in the last G7 summit, agreed on the creation of an adaptation accelerator hub to help developing countries turn national adaptation plans into concrete investment strategies. We have achieved good results at home. Italy's greenhouse gas emissions fell by 26% from 1990 levels. In the same year, the share of renewables in national electricity production has exceeded 50%, so 54%, I guess, of our electricity demand is covered by renewables now. We installed 7.5 plus additional gigawatt in new solar. We are in the land of the temple of sun and wind capacity. And last year, 400,000 photovoltaic systems were installed on the rooftop of family houses for a total amount of 1.6 million. I understand that in India these numbers are not significant because you are accustomed to huge numbers, but considering a population of 55 million, that's quite remarkable. We are also in the top EU for biofuel production, aiming at getting to 5 million tons to replace more or less 15% of fossil sources. And what is more significant is a value chain which is effective to collect and recycle waste oil and agricultural waste. Minister Goyal visited in a recent business forum in Brescia near Milan a remarkable company which set up 30 years ago a waste-to-energy plant. In that city, Brescia, 1 hour from Milan, you open your shower, or in winter you heat your house without having a boiler or a heater, because all the energy comes from one single waste-to-energy plant that serves all the city, with incredible advantages on the bill. We enhanced our best practices in the recycle industry. 137 million tons of waste, which means that 86% of the total waste amount is recycled every year, which made Italy the first in Europe for recycle of waste. more or less 21% of the materials utilized by our factories in the production come from waste recycling. You have to consider that the EU average is almost half, 11.8%. Of course, much still needs to be improved. For example, transport emissions continued to rise in 2023, more than 7% up. Emission reduction in our industrial sector slowed. And also the uncertainty, even the geopolitical uncertainty is not always conducive to an increase of innovative investments. And here I come to a crucial point, which is the issue of costs of climate change, of climate transition. Italy, for the ecological transition to be effective, it must also be socially and economically sustainable. The fighting against gas emissions and global warming must proceed hand in hand with the principles of simplification, equity, efficiency, competitiveness. In other words, the medicine cannot kill the patient. I think we can agree upon that. And ecology must be a holistic ecology, not only trees and animals that we all love, but in nature there are also human beings and workers that cannot be displaced out of the sudden. And so it's key for policymakers to keep a close eye on the impacts on productivity and competitiveness that climate policies may entail. And so rules must be credible and sustainable. Everyone agrees in Europe that this is a huge problem. I give you the last Eurobarometer is a periodical survey we have in Europe on different issues. 85% of European citizens consider climate change a priority, a serious problem. 81% support the objective of climate neutrality by 2050. That is the objective of the European Union. But the problem is how and with which funds. Okay, just yesterday, the European Parliament, there is a debate in our Parliament, rejected an amendment requesting, for example, a fast-track procedure for an amendment, modify the EU climate law, setting a 2040 EU climate target of 90%. So in other words, we have 55% by 2030. We aim at carbon neutrality by 2050. This objective is 90% with respect to 1990 by 2040. But many in the Parliament want to discuss how, with which funds, and having proper measures that are ongoing of simplification. For example, the carbon border adjustment mechanism. We are reducing a lot the red tape procedures. So at the same time, differences in economic development and performances cannot justify repeating mistakes made in the past by the industrialized economies, and these apply to you. Nor should these differences mean postponing effective and ambitious commitments. We all lose match if we don't play together. Climate change consequences affect indistinctively not only Europe and the West, but also India and the global South. Last October, just to give two figures, an Asia Development Bank report warned that climate change could hit India's GDP by as much as 25% by 2070. A third of India's GDP is linked to nature-related sectors. More than 80% of India's people live in districts that are at risk of climate change induced disasters. So it's something that regards everyone and regards countries very much exposed to climate change like India, and we should get to a new climate econometrics, you know, because all the GDP projections, the GDP forecast, does not the forecast factor in the climate change effects. Okay, is climate neutral. And climate change also stresses the risks of accelerating the brain drain out of the country. So climate finance plays a pivotal role. Industrial countries must mobilize public resources to support mitigation and adaptation measures in developing countries. So decarbonization can translate into a driver for growth. In the multilateral fora, Italy has committed 300 million recently to refinancing the UN Green Climate Fund. We funded 100 million to the Loss and Damage Fund to assist developing countries in repairing damage from extreme climate events. We are the leading contributors alongside friends. We support the goal of tripling annual financial support for developing countries from $100 billion to $300 billion. We participate in initiatives launched by India, like the Solar Alliance. We are going to finance some centers in Ghana, Ethiopia, Somalia, Ivory Coast. The Biofuel Alliance, also through the Biotech Center, International Center that is in Trieste in Italy and Delhi. And the CDRI, which is another Indian initiative on the protection of strategic infrastructure from the damages of climate change and natural disasters. And also there we have programs of capacity building. The future of many young people like you who are now building their tomorrow and rightly want to the certainty of living on a more healthy, equitable, just and sustainable planet depends on us and on this initiative. And this is my last point, as some colleagues has also underscored, the importance of the role of each and every one of us. We have, for example, two initiatives. One is called the Youth for Climate. Is our environmental ministry with UNDP, financing green projects led by young people. And another is I-ACT, is our ministry together with IRENA, which is the agency on the International Agency on Renewables, for training the trainers program. So youth people share their experiences with boys and girls of the same age, and India is in the project this year. This is why we are investing in climate education, not just to prepare ourselves for future challenges, but to make you, through agents of change, to make you the future leaders of our society when it comes to transition and sustainable development. I have shared what governments are doing and what they are not doing, but we must start asking ourselves what is each of us doing in our small way to support the sustainability of the planet. You remember the famous speech of JFK, ask not what your country is doing for you, ask what you can do for your country. That is the essence. So the push for a concrete leap forward in the fight against climate change starts from every one of us, closing the tap, having quick showers, and most particular on the younger generation. You can and must take action for a cleaner and better future, and we all can and must. Thank you.
Thank you, His Excellency, Mr. Antonio Enrico Bertoli from Italy to Ambassador of India. Now it is the time to invite Her Excellency Mrs. Lalatine Gebesar-Owen, who is the Ambassador of Seychelles to India, for his kind address.
Good afternoon. Chancellor, Dr. Prasad, all the faculty members, my colleagues, ambassadors, students, and ladies and gentlemen. It's always a pleasure for me to be back in Bhubaneswar. It's my third visit. And to be here at SOA, it's another pleasure. So I would like to thank the university for inviting us and inviting us to this important event, because we're talking about climate change and global warming. So when we talk about these subjects, the most affected are the small island developing states like Seychelles. So after hearing my other colleagues talking about the effects, the damages, let's go to paradise and let's go to know what Seychelles doing, because when you say Seychelles, when you talk about climate change, the first word is we are champion. We are champion in conserving the environment. So I would like to share with you what we're doing in Seychelles for us to be among the champions in this field. Seychelles, as you know, is the smallest state in Africa. We small island developing states, we are the least contributor to the climate global greenhouse gas emission. It's only 1%, but we are the most affected. We have heard about disappearance of islands, disappearance of erosions, the sea levels, and everything. So Seychelles has taken a lot of measures to keep the paradise, as we say, for the future generations. What is the position of a small island position on climate change? Since small island developing states have been global leaders in climate advocacy, often punching above their weight diplomatically. We are Paris Agreement champions. The loss of damage will make noises for us to have it implemented, and for us, for small island developing states, to benefit from. The climate finance success, we're also fighting for that, because we are small. We have limited resources, but we are most affected, so we need to fight for all these available sources. Now, what are the Seychelles views and position? Seychelles views on climate change as an existential threat. About 90 to 90% of our population and critical infrastructure lie within 5 meters of sea level, making rising seas, coastal erosion, salter intrusion, and extreme weather immediate dangers. So, the government of Seychelles recognizes the urgent and complex challenges posed by climate change and global warming. As an island nation, we are acutely vulnerable to the impact of rising sea level. In response to these challenges, Seychelles government has implemented a comprehensive national climate change strategy focusing on sustainable development and reducing greenhouse gas emissions. We are actively pursuing renewable energy projects and promoting sustainable tourism practices. While progress has been made, we acknowledge the need for continued international cooperation and support to address the multifaceted impacts of climate change. The Seychelles government has taken significant steps to address these challenges. Some key activities that we have taken include national climate change strategy, renewable energy development, blue economy strategy, marine conservation initiatives, international collaboration, and climate change adaptation. Seychelles, we are very small, and we had a goal by 2030, we will protect our 30% of our economic exclusive zone. But we did it 10 years before, so we achieved it in 2020, 1 decade before. And this shows how the government of Seychelles is very serious in these items that affect the small island states. We also have a policy and international advocacy. Paris Agreement, as I mentioned earlier, Seychelles committed to being carbon neutral by 2050, updating its 2030 nationally determined contributions to include stronger mitigation, blue carbon, and refrigerant regulations. The blue carbon push, the government aims to protect 50% of seagrass and mangrove ecosystems by this year, and 100% by 2030, seagrasses store CO2. 35 more faster than rainforest, making them more powerful carbon sinks. The climate diplomacy. We have championed access for small island developing states to concessional finance at COP28 and G20, G77 plus China summits, urging wealthier nations to scale up support and preserve the 1.5 degree warming limit. Innovative financing by Seychelles, what we have done. In 2018, Blue Bond, Seychelles issued the world's first sovereign blue bond, raising $15 million to fund marine conservation, fisheries management, sustainable tourism, and climate resilience infrastructure. What is that blue bond that we have benefited? It's the debt for climate swap. It means we don't pay back the debt, but we take the money we should pay back and conserve it and dedicate it for the conservation of the environment. The country structured debt for environmental protection, designating 32% of its ocean as marine protected areas, I mentioned earlier. IMF Resilience and Sustainability Facility. We accessed in 2023 to finance climate adaptation and support reforms in public investment, renewable deployment, climate resilience infrastructure, and disaster risk strategies. What all these mean? These mean existential risk, holistic strategy, leadership role, and blueprint for small island developing states. In conclusion, the Seychelles government activities and policies on climate change and global warming demonstrate a strong commitment to sustainability, resilience, and international cooperation. By integrating climate considerations into national development, planning, and pursuing innovative solutions, the Seychelles aims to mitigate the impacts of climate change and secure a sustainable future for its people and environment. I would like to end by saying that from our experience, despite our small size, I think that the university, SOA, and the Seychelles University, we can collaborate, we can share our experiences, and that would benefit both sides, and we can as well learn from you what you have done, and then the exchange program we can establish as a result of this participation in these important events. So I anticipate we will have something from this event. Thank you so much. Dhanyavad.
Thank you, Madam. Her Excellency Mrs. Lalatine Gibesorwon for his valuable speech and sharing her experience. Now I invite His Excellency Mr. Alberto Antonio Guani Amarel, who is the Ambassador of Uruguay to India.
Thank you. Good morning. A few weeks ago, we had to regret the demise of former President of Uruguay, José Mujica, who had a memorable address on June 12, 2015 in Rio de Janeiro during the plenary session of the Rio +20 Conference on Sustainable Development. On that occasion, he stated that development cannot go against happiness. It has to work in favor of human happiness, of love on earth, human relationships, caring of children, having friends. This is very much in the same line of India's position of one world, one family. That sensible message envisaged Uruguay's strong standing to work together in combating this global challenge. It is an urgent topic that still needs to be taken seriously, and that is why I celebrate this international conference that has brought me for a second time to Bhubaneswar in Odisha, thanks to the intervention of my friend, the Director General of Siksha O Anusandhan University, Dr. Mahendra Prasad. Certainly, as we address this issue, we cannot forget its human side. There's a new climate reality. Early warning systems are not luxuries. They are necessities and sound investments, providing an almost tenfold return. Yet almost half of the world's countries still lack access to these life-saving systems. It is disgraceful that in a digital age, lives and livelihoods are being lost because people have no access to effective early warning systems. The United Nations Early Warnings for All initiative aims for everyone, everywhere to be protected by an alert system by 2027. The world must come together and urgently scale up action and investment to realize this goal. We need high-level political support for the initiative within countries, a boost in technology support, greater collaboration between government, business, and communities, and a major effort to scale up finance, increasing the lending capacity of the Multilateral Development Bank, and this is a key. The Pact for the Future agreed last year made important strides forward. It must be delivered in full, so must the COP30 in Belém, State of Brazil, Pará, in Brazil on November 10 to 21, reach an agreement on this. In an era of climate disaster, every person on Earth must be protected by an early warning system as a matter of justice. Different regions of the world warm at different rates. The pattern is independent of where greenhouse gases are emitted, because the human contribution needs to change this unique fingerprint for all potential causes that are in climate variability. For example, solar forcing, whose fingerprint involves warming the entire atmosphere, and is ruled because only the lower atmosphere has warmed atmospheric aerosis, produce a smaller cooling effect, and other drivers such as changes in albedo are less impactful. CO2 concentrations over the last 800 years, as measured from ice cores, blue, green, and directly black, have contributed to this rate of also free cover loss that approximately has doubled since 2001 to an annual loss approaching an area the size of Italy. Air pollution in the form of aerosis affects the climate on a large scale. This phenomenon is popularly known as global dimming and is primarily attributed to sulfate aerosis produced by the combustion of fossils fuels with heavy sulfur concentrations like coal and bunker fuels. Smaller contributions come from black carbon, from combustion of fossil fuels and biomass. And from dust, globally, aerosols have been declining since 1990 due to the pollution controls, meaning that they no longer mask greenhouse gas warming as such. These particular processes, after the pace of global warming, for instance, warmer air, can hold more moisture in the form of water vapor, which is itself a potential greenhouse gas. Warmer air can also make clouds higher and thinner, and therefore more insulating, increasing climate warming. The reduction of snow cover and sea ice in the Arctic is a major feedback. This reduces the reflectivity of the Earth's surface in the region and accelerates Arctic warming. This additional warming also contributes to permafrost thawing, which releases methane and CO2 into the atmosphere. Climate change has led to decades of shrinking and thinning of the Arctic sea ice, while ice-free summers are expected to be rare at 1.5 centigrades of warming. They are said to occur once every 3 or 10 years at a warming level of 2 centigrades. Higher atmosphere CO2 concentrations cause more CO2 to dissolve in the oceans, which is making more Arctic. Precisely in the field of adoption of renewable energies in Uruguay, it is important to highlight that presently it stands second in world coverage, following Denmark. The aim of fostering green leadership by focus on creating a roadmap for the power sector and envisioning clean energy security as a path for progress and a clean energy future. There is a conviction in my country that shifting to clean energy must be instrumental for the world to achieve its net zero targets by 2050. In this issue of clean energy that is important to Uruguay, that showcases to demonstrate the spectrum of business opportunity for industry stakeholders that have assumed the development based on the growth of renewable energy as a main factor of opportunities that are or will be reached globally. There's no doubt that hydrogen will play a very important role in the worldwide decarbonization, and Latin America has the opportunity to join in. This was said by our former Minister of Energy and Industry and Mining, Omar Paganini. Once developed, it will turn the exports of gas, allowing the country of Uruguay to gain 2.1 billion of income and create 34,000 jobs by 2040. This is where I think India and Uruguay have a promising future to share. And due to this sustainable energy policies, many investors have inclined their interest towards our region, and this energy geopolitics is beginning a process of transition towards greater diversification, in which countries that historically have not had relevant energy resources are positioning themselves as new players with diverse roles and possibilities. Uruguay faces a unique opportunity to expand the country's energy production and export boundaries. The first energy transition has shown us the potential of renewable energy. And it is important to highlight that the research for other points of with India. We have a Uruguayan company already established in Noida, near to New Delhi, that is already building boilers to help the issue of pollution, and it's something that contributes to create biomass from this, and we think it's also an interesting way to address climate change. So there are many new techniques and new visions which I mainly think that it is important to encourage, and at the same time to see that the academic field, and especially the students and the new generations, have a great obligation in this sense. And I hope that this International Conclave gives some clues in that sense, for which I wish you all the best success. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I request His Excellency Mr. Fernando Javier Busalivar from Ecuador as the Ambassador of Ecuador to India.
Good afternoon, dear friends, authorities of this very prestigious university, dear colleagues. It's a real honor to me to be here in this beautiful city of Bhubaneswar, sorry, very difficult name for me. City known for its cultural, thank you, heritage and recent commitment to innovation and sustainability. My colleagues have been many times, but for me it's the first time. Let me tell you, it's one of the most beautiful cities in India. Not only because the temples, not only because the nature, but the most important is you. What a friendly people are you, people of Bhubaneswar. Thank you very much. We gather today under a pressing global theme, climate change and global warming, a crisis that transcends borders, disciplines, and generations. As we reflect on the scientific data and policy frameworks, let us also to reflect on moral urgency and need for concrete action. In that spirit, I would like to share Ecuador's experience and leadership in a key area that is deeply interlinked with climate change. You know what I'm talking about? Is plastic pollution. Ecuador has done a lot to tackle this problem, this affecting all the planet. In 2019, in the Basel Convention, Ecuador was the first country to formally propose the need for a global response to plastic pollution. Ecuador continued leadership in September 2021 by co-organizing, along with Germany, Ghana, and Vietnam, a ministerial conference that mobilized political will for legally binding global instrument of plastic pollutions. The momentum has a historic milestone, this adoption of the United Nations Environment Agency resolution in February 2022, which established the Intergovernmental Negotiation Committee, we call INC, an ambitious and unprecedented effort to negotiate, listen, for first time, a legally binding instrument to end plastic pollution, including the marine environment. This is not just a process, it's a civilization turning point. Ecuador is proud to preside over this process since the end of the third round of negotiations. But you are wondering what we are talking about plastic. Let me tell you some facts. Very important. Since 1950, You know, over 9.2 billion tons of plastic have been produced. You know what this means? It is about equivalent of almost 2 billion of elephants that have been produced of plastic pollution. Every year, listen, 200 million tons of plastic waste are generated. Every minute in the world, the equivalent of one truckload of plastic ends up in our oceans. You have a beautiful ocean. We were in Puri yesterday. We have to take care about that. Over 100 marine and coastal species suffered impacts of plastic pollution. But the crisis is not just about wildlife and biodiversity. You know, it's about health and dignity. You have one of the most distinguished medical schools in India. I was talking with a professor before coming this here, and they could tell what I'm talking is right. Microplastics and nanoplastic have been detained in our blood. It's not just the plastic is in the oceans. It's not just plastic is in the environment. No, plastic is inside our body, our blood, our lungs, kidneys, liver, stomach, even in the placenta. They are linked to diseases as asthma, diabetes, cancer, and endometriosis. It means it's not just abstract plastic, no, it's a reality. And this reality is not only in the nature, it's not only in the oceans. The sad reality that plastic pollution is inside us. In the Intergovernmental Negotiating Committee held in Canada in 2024 was the first formal negotiation of a treaty. As I told you, we want to negotiate a legal binding instrument to combat plastic pollution. We have another meeting, 24, in Korea. And now, very important, we are preparing the 5th meeting of the International Negotiating Committee that we will hold in Geneva, Switzerland, in the coming days. Ecuador is working to ensure this is a substantive and logistical successful session. We are, for that, engaging with regional groups and different countries. We are promoting dialogue between states, especially where the difference persists. Because if we want a meaningful treaty, it must be built not only in science and data, but in trust, inclusion, and fairness. Another fact, you are university researchers. The ocean gave birth to life on 3.6 billion years ago. But you know, just take 70 years to pollute it to the brink. This is not just an environmental issue, this is a moral obligation. You know, Galapagos Island, Ecuadorian island, is a natural heritage, is UNESCO city, is already treated by plastic pollution from currents around the world. 50% of the oxygen we breathe comes from the ocean. This treaty that we are negotiating is not about, listen, because, you know, India is a big power. They have a big industry of plastics, of course. But this treaty is not about to restrict markets or punishing innovation. It's about to ensuring how we cut to breathe, rather to drown in plastic. India, like Ecuador, has shown vision and commitment. We need both our countries and all the countries around the world to act, to work with ambition and urgency. The United Nations Secretary has spoken of the three planetary crises. We already were talking about that: biodiversity, loss, climate change, and now plastic pollution. But you know, these two first means biodiversity and climate change. They have legal instruments. They are already discussing under the patrons of the United Nations, but not for plastic pollution. This is our Paris moment for plastic. It's our generation's chance to say enough. We call all countries to engage constructively in the remaining negotiations to ensure we could get a legally binding, inclusive, and science-based instrument. We have to recognize also the special needs for developing countries. We have to support transition and circular economy. And the most important is to listen the voices of youth, people, scientists, indigenous communities. I was very happy impressed. You have one of the most biggest tribal communities in India, and we were enjoying the museum, and we will see how cultural, a lot of traditions you have, even with the main authorities, Madam, the President of your country, and the Chief Minister of these beautiful states, they are from Odisha. Let us not aim for a minimum consensus. Let us aim for a maximum impact. Let us write a treaty with justice and with the soul. Ecuador stands ready to continue leading with humility, science, and with hope. Because the world deserves an agreement that is not just historic, but also transformational. Dear colleagues, the fight against plastic pollution is inseparable from the fight against climate change. It's about emissions, yes, but it's also about adaptation, resilience, and restoring our relationship with nature. As we meet here in this beautiful city of Bhubaneswar, a place deeply rooted culture and spirituality and tradition, let's also root our action in values of solidarity, multilateralism, and climate justice. Ecuador stands ready to work with India and in this conclave and beyond to build bridge between South-South partners, between science and policy, between local innovation and global impact. Let this conclave inspire not only to talk about climate change, but most important, to be the change. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, His Excellency Mr. Fernando Javier Buscaliver. Now I request the Ambassador of Guatemala to India, it's Mr. Omkar Aneda Solares.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Namaskar. Buenas tardes. It is a great pleasure for me to be here for the first time in this beautiful city of Bhubaneswar in Odisha. Congratulations to all of you because you have an amazing, beautiful city. You are such a nice people that has hosted us in the last 2 days. Very grateful for your hospitality and your kindness. Considering also that my colleagues have indicated and expressed many of the views that all the countries represented here have taken in terms of being responsible with our policies related to climate change and global warming, I will be very brief. At the outset, I want to thank very much all the different authorities of the Siksha O Anusandhan University, SOA. Thank you so much and for bringing also this important topic to be addressed. Because as my colleagues have indicated, you students are the ones that are going to take that responsibility for the short and the long term. At this moment, as you know, many of us, for example, diplomats, we have worked in several multilateral settings, international organizations, and also in bilateral posts. But you are the ones that are going to take that responsibility forward in the next years. And depends on you to know about our planet, about taking care of our resources, about taking care also of our families, but basically about
Thank you, His Excellency, Mr. Omkar Sanheda Sulares. Now it is the time to invite His Excellency, Mr. Kashyap Tewari, the Ambassador of Guyana to India.
Permit me 1 second. I have the honor, but also the disadvantage of presenting last, so I'll just do something quickly. So if anyone next to you is sleeping, let them know they'll be on the Facebook page of the Guyana High Commission tomorrow morning, okay? So, good morning, namaskara, Jai Jagannath. It's an honor to be here, a pleasure to be here in Odisha, a well-famed city. At the outset, I must say that the Odissi dance was phenomenal. I've only heard about it. Very inspiring and very, very powerful. I bring greetings from Guyana, the land of many waters, the land of giants, the land of Romario Shepherd and Shemron Hetmeyer. For the older people in the room, Shivnarayan Chandrapal, Clive Lloyd, you may know them, great West Indies cricketing legends. I'm not only here as a representative of Guyana, I'm also here as a student myself. I'm pursuing higher education. And coincidentally, my university is called SOAS, S-O-A-S. So very close to SOA here, and it's no wonder I feel right at home with wonderful people. So I'll try to be very brief. I just want to talk about three things. I want to talk about one of the silent drivers behind the complexities of climate change, which is the issue of development. Climate change is a phenomenally complex subject that has interplay with every sector in society, and one of the main factors, especially for developing countries, is development. The second, I would like to talk about some of the actions Guyana has taken and the leadership Guyana has taken on that field. And the third is geared towards the students, and if I do the first two right, it should be easy, what we can do going forward. So, as it relates to climate change, I'd like to focus on climate justice. Two main points to note as it relates to climate change and climate justice is that those who contributed the very least to the problem of climate change are the ones who suffer the most. The poor in society, the poor in the world, the poorer countries, the developing countries have contributed the least, and they suffer the most. They have the most burden of issues like water scarcity, of food and nutrition insecurity, of environmental insecurity, and so on. The second point is, with a limited carbon quota going forward, developing countries are forced into a situation where we must now commit to cutting our emissions, even though we contributed 1/5 of emissions prior to 2000. So we must limit our development in the name of climate change and sustainability, even though we have not contributed to the problem. We have to pursue low carbon development, which is costly, it's technical, and it's contrary, importantly, it's contrary to what the developed countries have used in their efforts to get by, whether it be 2 centuries ago. It's opposite to what the tools and mechanisms they used. So these are two important points of climate justice or injustice. One of the main criticisms of the current climate discourse of organizations such as COP, of the SDGs, is that they tend to fall on the aspirational, the rhetorical, they a little bit off the ground as to compared to what is needed, desired, and workable on the ground. It does not address the deep desire of developing countries across the world to pursue economic and social outcomes for their people. It does not address these deep concerns. This is why we see 30 years on from the Rio summit in '92, 20 years on from Rio 20, from the MDGs, 10 years on from the SDGs, we have seen very little change. We have seen, and to bring it out, we have seen very little change in how people and societies interact with nature. At base, this is the issue. How do we interact with nature? If we're about exploitation and production and mining and so on, we're not getting to the core of the issue of climate change, of sustainability. However, it's not all pessimistic. And this is where Guyana comes in, I hope. I'll tell you a little bit about Guyana. Guyana has a very small population, 800,000 people, smaller than Bhubaneswar. But as stated earlier, Guyana has emerged as a global leader in climate security. It's been called by other leaders a green superpower. We have punched above our weight in terms of climate, and I'll tell you how. We have pioneered a lot of world's firsts as it relates to climate, more specifically in forests. Guyana boasts a forest cover of 85% of our total mass, which is about the size of England and Scotland combined, of pure, pristine forest cover. And we also boast one of the lowest deforestation rates in the world. Our forests store 19.5 gigatons of carbon, and every year it sequesters 150 million tons annually. So it's a climate sink. It's a carbon sink. As well, it is one of the most important biodiversity hotspots, being at the confluence of the Amazon basin and the Guyana Shield. So in terms of biodiversity, it is, in terms of forest, in terms of carbon sequestration, in terms of biodiversity, it is a country that offers much to the global good, a lot to the global good. But the question is simple. I'm not sure how many of you would have seen the famous interview with our president and BBC. I'm not sure. I guess not. The idea is simple, right? Our country has been protecting these forests for time immemorial. Our indigenous people, the people who came subsequently, Africans and East Indians, Indians from India, Europeans, Chinese, we have protected that forest. But who cares? Who has shown regard for that protecting of that forest? The ultimate question is, or the ultimate answer, the idea is simple, that countries must be compensated for their positive contributions to the global good, to the global commons, with regard to emissions, forest preservation, biodiversity conservation. And this is where Guyana has stepped out of the mold and shaped the mold. Guyana, some of the achievements, we have, in 2009, we had a world's first agreement with Norway, where Norway paid us some money to protect our forests, to keep it pristine. That sort of served as the model. You compensate a country for their global good, for their contribution to global good. That was 2009. In 2002, Guyana became the first country in the world to be issued jurisdictional scale carbon credits, which is countrywide scale carbon credits. The entire country has a management system of its forests that is so accurate and defined that we have been issued jurisdictional scale carbon credits. That's the world's first, and it forms as a model for other countries going forward. In that same year, we were issued the world's largest in history forest carbon credit sale to the tune of $750 million US. That was one of the world's first. And we continue to innovate in the regard of carbon credits, voluntary carbon credits. In airlines are now using our carbon credits for offsetting their emissions. Apple, the company, just bought 100,000 carbon credits recently. And we continue to pioneer in that regard, setting a model for other countries to follow. This year, we will take that leadership to another level in terms of biodiversity. At the end of this month, Guyana will be launching the Global Biodiversity Alliance Summit, which aims to bring together thought leaders, policymakers, and the intention is to create a framework for marketing biodiversity credits, because it is a global good, biodiversity, the total stock from which flora and fauna come from. The greater the stock, the greater our resilience for anything going forward. Any challenge we face, the greater stock we have, the greater resilience we have going forward. We're looking to do biodiversity conservation swaps, as Excellency from Seychelles was alluding to, accelerating biodiversity bonds, and basically creating a blueprint for the preservation of biodiversity, for the compensation of biodiversity going forward. We don't live in a perfect world. We need to innovate, and in a market-based economy, society, and world, this is a solution that can work, that can allow global good and global initiatives to be preserved, encouraged, and compensated. And this is where Guyana stands out. So, this takes vision, it takes perseverance. It was since 2009, even before this was started, and only now we begin to see the fruits. So climate justice, climate action, it takes vision, it takes perseverance, it takes a commitment to truth, it takes a grounding in humanity, it takes a love for nature, and this is where I think India comes in. I must admit, in all my travels across the world, India is the country that is most grounded in humanity and nature, in my opinion. In terms of how you interact with animals, forests, rivers, people, mountains, rocks, everything is sacred, everything has a place, and everything must coexist. So, as developing countries, we cannot and must not wait for advice from outside to tell us how we should be, how we should go moving forward. We have the answers. We already have the answers. And if 800,000 people in Guyana can make such an indelible impression in the world going forward, I charge you, youngsters, scholars, students, just use your imagination, what you can do. 800,000 people, your population is 1.2 million. I'm sure you can do more. So on that note, I thank the university for having us here, for gracing us, and for welcoming us. I thank the lovely people of Odisha. I'm really glad to be here, and I wish you all the best, all the very best in your deliberations and your future. Namaskar. Thank you.
Thank you, His Excellency Mr. Kashyap Tiwari. It is all about the speeches you heard from ambassadors of various countries. Now it is the time to be addressed by the Vice Chancellor, the Presidential Address. I request Professor Neeta Mohanty to have the Presidential Address on this occasion.
Very good afternoon, one and all. It gives me immense pleasure to be a host to this International Conclave on Climate Change and Global Warming Issues and Prospects. We are deeply honored by the presence of esteemed dignitaries, His Excellency Mr. Juan Antonio March Pujol, Ambassador of the Kingdom of Spain to India, Bhutan, Nepal, Sri Lanka, and the Maldives, His Excellency Mr. Alberto Antonio Guani Amarilla, Ambassador of Uruguay in India, to India, His Excellency Mr. Fernando Xavier Buscelli, Ambassador of Ecuador to India, His Excellency Mr. Omar Castaneda Soleris, Ambassador of Guatemala to India, His Excellency Mr. Antonio Enrico Bertali, Ambassador of Italy to India and Nepal, His Excellency Mr. Javier Manuel Paulinich Valorade, Ambassador of Peru to India, Her Excellency Mrs. Lalatiana Akauche, High Commissioner of Seychelles to India, Mr. Keshav Tiwari, Second Secretary, High Commissioner to the Cooperative Republic of Ghana in India, Dr. Mrityunjay Mahapatra, Director General, Indian Meteorological Department, Pro Vice Chancellor Dr. Prasanjit Mohanty, our distinguished professor, Professor U.C. Mohanty, Registrar Vice Chancellor, esteemed resource persons, distinguished delegates, members of the organizing committee, deans, directors, faculty members, and dear students. Siksha O Anusandhan means education and research, and it signifies a commitment to education and research. Our university, popularly known as SOA, is among India's premier multidisciplinary, research-driven, extension-oriented institution, and it encompasses 12 institutes under its ambit. Our journey began in 1996 with the establishment of an engineering and technology college approved by the AICTE. Over time, SOA grew in stature and diversified into 10 disciplines, driven by its dedication to quality education and research. Recognizing the growing need for professional education and innovation, the Ministry of Human Resource Development, based on the recommendations of the University Grants Commission, conferred the deemed to be university status on 7th of July 2007. Since then, SOA has continued to promote excellence in education, research, and extension. It offers future-ready, industry-aligned technical and professional education supported by cutting-edge research platforms, fostering an ecosystem that empowers students, researchers, and faculty to build careers of their choice. SOA has consistently featured among the top universities in India as per the National Institutional Ranking Framework. It was last ranked 14th, and as per the re-accreditation with A++ grade by the National Assessment and Accreditation Council. SOA has been globally ranked by the QS World Rankings, World University Rankings, in the bracket of 1201 to 1400, QS Asia ranking 278, and QS South Asia 64th. In the Times Higher Education World Rankings, it is 801 to 1000 and 251 to 300 in Asia. The World Reputational Rankings in 2025 is 201 to 300. We are truly privileged to be joined today by distinguished ambassadors from Spain, Uruguay, Ecuador, Guatemala, Italy, Peru, Seychelles, and Guyana. Your esteemed presence and invaluable insights have significantly enriched this international conclave on climate change and global warming issues and prospects. Your Excellencies, your perspectives on climate modeling, extreme weather adaptation, urban resilience, and environmental security are critical in guiding us forward. As the climate crisis intensifies, global cooperation coupled with local action becomes even more vital. This conclave brings together 17 eminent resource persons, including senior scientists, environmental experts, and faculty from premier institutions such as Indian Meteorological Department, ISRO, INCOIS, IIT Kharagpur, IIT Bombay, IIT Bhubaneswar, IITM Pune, CDAC Pune, IWM Bhubaneswar. They will deliberate on key themes including the science of climate change, food and water security, food biodiversity and ecosystem loss, urban infrastructure challenges, public health concerns, and socio-economic disruptions. The conclave will also feature technological innovations and strategic solutions for climate adaptation and mitigation. SOA proudly leads these initiatives through its specialized centers established by Professor U.C. Mohanty, Center for Environment and Climate under Dr. Sarat Chandra Sahu, and Center for Climate Smart Agriculture under Dr. R.K. Panda. CEC, established in 2018, provides short-range weather forecasting for Odisha, conducts advanced climate research, and engages in public outreach. CSA, unique multidisciplinary research center, launched in 2022, focuses on agriculture-related climate challenges, developing climate-resilient cropping systems, and global collaboration for sustainable food systems. These centers operate with cutting-edge technologies, including automatic weather stations, air quality monitoring system, lightning detection systems across Odisha, continuous climate trend analysis, and surface meteorological observatories. SOA's international collaborations with University of Texas, University of Nebraska, Texas, and AM University for exchange of ideas on a regular basis, and collaboration with organizations like IRADE further strengthen research on heat waves and local climate impacts in Bhubaneswar. While climate change is a global crisis, its effects are most acute at the local level. Therefore, action must also begin locally. Through such initiatives and forums, we aim to empower ourselves as faculty, researchers, and students to act as global citizens equipped with the knowledge, tools, and networks necessary to forge a sustainable future. Let this conclave serve as catalyst for innovation, dialogue, and united action. Thank you for the patient hearing.
ମୁଁ ଅନୁଭବ କରୁଛି ଟିକେ ପିଲାମାନେ ବ୍ୟସ୍ତ ହେଲେଣି और मात्र 5 minutes to 10 minutes will take, and after that we'll conclude. Now it is the time for the felicitation as a token of appreciation, love and affection on behalf of university to the august body present over the stage. Now I request Professor Neeta Mohanty, Vice Chancellor, SO Deemed University, to felicitate His Excellency Mr. Fernando Javier Busalivar, Ambassador of Ecuador to India. Now, Professor Prasenjit Mohanty, Pro Vice Chancellor, will felicitate His Excellency Mr. Javier Manuel Paul Rich Velar, Ambassador of Peru to India. Now I request Professor U.C. Mohanty to felicitate His Excellency Mr. Antonio Enrico Bertoli, Ambassador of Italy to India. Now I request Dr. Mohendra Prasad to come on stage to felicitate Ambassador of Spain to India, His Excellency Mr. Juan Antonio Mas Pujol. Now I request Professor Vibhuti Bhushan Pradhan, Pro Vice Chancellor cum Registrar, to felicitate His Excellency Mr. Albert Antonio Guani Amaral, Ambassador of Uruguay to India. Now I request Professor Prasant Kumar Patra, Pro Vice Chancellor, to felicitate His Excellency Mr. Omkas Anede Solares, Ambassador of Guatemala to India. Now I request Professor Anup Kumar Samantrai, Pro Vice Chancellor, to felicitate Her Excellency Mrs. Lalatine Gebesar Owen, Ambassador of Seychelles to India. Now I request Professor R.K. Ponda on stage to felicitate His Excellency Mr. Kashyap Tiwari, Ambassador of Guyana to India. Sorry, second. Yeah. It is a time for the felicitation to Dr. Mrutyunjay Mahapatra. On stage, I request Professor Manas Kumar Malik to come and to felicitate Dr. Mrutyunjay Mahapatra, Director General Meteorology of Indian Meteorology Department. We have almost reached to the concluding part. Just to have a few minutes of vote of thanks, I request Professor Renu Sharma, Additional Dean Student Affairs, Faculty of Engineering Technology, to propose the vote of thanks.
His Excellencies Ambassadors, Vice Chancellors, Pro-Vice Chancellors, Speakers, Directors, Dean, Faculty, Research Scholars, Students, Print and Electronic Media, a very good afternoon to one and all. It's indeed profound honor for me to extend the vote of thanks at the conclusion of this intellectual, stimulating, and globally significant conclave on climate change and global warming issues and prospects. This conclave has been a confluence of the bright minds, actionable insight, and collaborative spirit. At the outset, I extend my deepest gratitude to honorable ambassadors from Europe and South Americas, whose gracious presence and powerful perspectives elevated the global relevance of this event. Sirs, ma'am, your insight on climate diplomacy, cross-border cooperations, and environmental equity have added a diplomatic dimensions to our scientific discussions. My heartfelt thanks to 17 eminent speakers comprising senior scientists and distinguished professors, those who are going to deliver in these 2 days, 10th and 11th July. We look forward for climate modeling, agriculture, energy, water resources, urbanization, and many more. These 2 days conclave is not just the presenting the fact about the present scenario, but igniting a collective call to the action. My heartfelt thanks to the organizing committee, the faculty coordinators, technical teams behind the scene for your dedication and precision to ensure the seamless execution of this program. Special thanks to our founder president, Professor Manoj Nayak sir, for their visionary approach and commitment for placing the climate dialogue at the core of institutional priority. Formally and finally, a warm thanks to all the participants, researchers, students, and attendees who contributed to this conclave for their engagement, and they will be having certain questions that will be taken up in coming sessions. My special thanks goes to print and electronic media for playing a very vital role for creating the awareness about this program and participation. Let this conclave not be the conclusion, but the beginning, a call of interdisciplinary, intercontinental, and intergenerational collaboration toward mitigating the climate change and ensuring the sustainable future. Thank you. Let's walk forward toward the conviction, collaboration, and climate consciousness. Jai Hind.
Now it is the time to have the title song of our university. All of you please remain standing for 2 minutes more. Thank you. Our public relations department has developed a very special video of 3 minutes on this conclave. You can have a glance of it. Please have the video. And this is the last event of this inaugural ceremony.
Welcome to the Centre for Environment and Climate, CEC. Established in 2018, CEC is dedicated to advancing environmental research and real-time weather forecasting. The objective is to provide short-range weather forecasts specifically tailored to the Odisha region, keeping people informed and prepared. But that's not all. CEC is committed to nurturing the next generation of weather and climate scientists, offering PhD programs and driving cutting-edge research on climate change, urbanization, monsoon dynamics, and tropical cyclones.
This center is established in the year 2018 with the objective of creating weather scientists in the field of atmospheric science like climate and climate change, climate variability, dynamics of monsoon and tropical cyclone. Besides this also it was decided to take a meteorological observation at this location also and do